All right, it is that time of the year. 2023 is coming to an end. There's been great movies, but there's also been some bad ones, and that's what we're going to focus on now. It's the top 10 worst films of 2023. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Tyson, and we are here to talk about movies. That's right, we do movie reviews, movie trailer reactions, we cover major movie news on our Admit One podcast, we do movie rankings, and of course we do Oscar Mondays. So with all that being said and sounds interesting to you, make sure to check us on out and subscribe. We are on the way to 1,000 subscribers here, and I would love to have your guys' support as we go about that journey. And, well, let's just get right into it, guys. 2023, it's been a year. It's been a great year for film, in my opinion, but there's been some bad ones. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I think some of these picks of mine are going to be a little controversial, especially my number 10. But, yeah, it's just how it rolled out to be. So let's just get right into it. At number 10, I have David Fincher's The Killer. This was a film that just didn't do it for me at all. I was excited to see this one. I love Michael Fassbender. I do like David Fincher. However, ultimately, I just couldn't really get behind this film, and it wasn't really a great success in my opinion. It started off kind of strong, but then just was weak all the way through, and I found it quite boring, actually, in my opinion, and not really, like, bad, just more boring in a way, and I didn't really care about the story that was taking place, so that's why The Killer's at number 10. Coming in at number 9, this is a film I just saw recently, and I had no idea why it happened, but it did, and with all the reshoots it had, how did it get this bad? And it's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I mean, this film, I love the first Aquaman film. The first one's great. I think it's fun. It's one of my favorite DCEU films. And this one is one of the worst DCEU films. I just didn't get at all why it was this big of a mess. The story was bad. The dialogue was bad. Momoa was fun, but the ending was, I don't know what that was. It just seemed like they didn't really know how to end it, and they were like, all right, let's just do this. And the DCEU ended. So yeah, it ended in a mess, and that's what Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is. It's a boring, awful mess. All right, coming in at number 8, I have Wes Anderson's film Asteroid City. This film just didn't do it for me. I did not like this one bit. I thought it was weird, strange. It felt long, even though it really wasn't. You know, it has a great cast, but it just can't save the film for me. You know, I'm not the biggest Wes Anderson fan either. My favorite film of his is Fantastic Mr. Fox. And his style is definitely different. It's very particular. And, you know, maybe it's just because I'm not the biggest fan of his. Maybe that's one of the main reasons why I didn't like Asteroid City. But I just didn't think it was compelling at all. And it was just quite boring. So, yeah, Asteroid City is coming in number 8. But following that, number 7, I have Cocaine Bear. This is a film I thought was going to be fun, you know, at least dumb, but fun. And it was more so just dumb and not really that fun. The CGI on the bear wasn't actually that bad. In the story itself, you know, it could be good. It is obviously based on a true story, believe it or not. But I just, again, it was just, it wasn't anything special. And it just kept on going. And I was questioning it, like, why? Why the jokes didn't land at all. The cast tried but failed, and yeah, when a comedy fails to be funny, it fails automatically for me. So, Cocaine Bear, not that good. All right, we got following Cocaine Bear at number 6. I have Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a film I saw right on Peacock. I understood why I went to Peacock. I think fans of the game could like this one, and I think they did for the most part. It made a good amount of money, but I couldn't get behind it. It just wasn't for me. I thought the animatronics of the characters looked good, but the story was just weird with this guy who was taking children and then he was inside this weird bunny costume. I just thought was weird and strange and made no sense at all. And it was just kind of one of those films I just threw my hands up in the air and I questioned a lot of its logic. So, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, I have another controversial pick. I think a lot of people liked this film, or at least thought it was okay. But for me, it was just a boring mess, and I didn't understand the hype around it. And that is Megan, this horror film that Blumhouse did earlier this year. Again, I just didn't understand it. I don't get why people love this one. To me, it was just it was more of an original idea in a way with this AI kind of robot, but I never bought it. A lot of the tension that they tried to build, I think, failed. The characters were dry. The story and the emotional arc they tried to pull off just did not work for me whatsoever. So ultimately, that's why Megan just failed so hard for me, and I kind of find it really forgettable and just painful remembering how I watched it. So, yeah, Megan is number 5. Coming in at number 4, I have more of a disappointing film, I guess, than bad, but I put it down here anyway, and that is Knock at the Cabin. I'm a fan of M. Night Shyamalan, and I love the twist and everything like that, and I was looking forward to Knock at the Cabin. It was one of my most anticipated films this year, and it just failed. It didn't do anything for me. I was waiting for something to happen, and then nothing really happened. The best thing of this movie is Dave Bautista. I love him. I think he's a phenomenal actor, and you really see his chops here in this film, especially for his drama work. But other than that, it just was dry, bland. The story, again, I was just waiting for something to really happen, and I didn't understand really the ending of this film. So, Knock at the Cabin, forgettable, bland, and really disappointing. Comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, I have Adam Driver in 65. This is that dinosaur film that I popped on Netflix, I think, a couple months ago, and just to give it a watch, and, you know, it was not good. It wasn't good. I didn't understand what was going on. I liked how, obviously I knew it was Earth and, 65 million years obviously ago, and the dinosaurs. It was cool sometimes with the visuals, but other than that, it was just bland. And I thought it was kind of just weak overall. The story, it's forgettable. I'm not going to waste much time talking about it. I wish I didn't watch it. Coming in at number 2, the second worst film of the year, in my opinion, is so dreadful. It is A Haunting in Venice, or Haunting at Venice. I don't even know. This one I saw in the theater because I had nothing else better to do. I was bored all the way through. I was just sitting there in awe of crap. In awe of the crap I was watching. And this comes from somebody who likes Kenneth Branagh. I like him. I never got behind Murder. I never got behind Death at the Nile. The two that came before this one. I wasn't a fan of either of those two. So it kind of makes sense why I wasn't a fan of this one. But it had a good cast. But ultimately, the ending, the reveal, the jump scares it kind of had, it was awful. It was an awful time. And I regret going to the theater for this one. Yeah, Haunting at Venice is number 2. But number 1 is a film that is the worst film one of the worst films I have ever seen, period. This film is awful. Curiosity got the better of me, and that is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Ruining a great IP. Well, it didn't ruin the IP for me, but it just took the IP of Winnie the Pooh and just made it crap. I mean, why? Why do this? Why would you do this? This story made 0 sense. It was full of crap. The acting was horrible. The script was dreadful. The hour-and-a-half runtime this felt so long because I was just sitting there counting so many mistakes with the direction, with the camera angle, with what the characters were doing, with what they were saying. It was just no emotion behind the performance whatsoever. It was laughably bad, and I was cringing so many times while watching this movie. I'm glad I didn't waste time going out to the theater, but I wish I did not waste time watching this on streaming. I was just sitting there like Haunting in Venice in awe of crap. Just dreadful. It was a dreadful experience. One I would not recommend to anybody. If you're curious about how this went, just trust me in saying it was awful. Do not waste your time watching this. There are plenty of other things you could be doing that are better, worth your time. So, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, congratulations. You are the worst film of 2023 and one of the worst films I have ever seen, period. And with that said, guys, bringing it to a close here, that wraps it up. That is my top 10 worst films of 2023. Let me know what you think of my list in the comments, and please share your list below, because I would love to have a discussion. And if any of you are brave enough to watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, please let me know your thoughts on it. All right, guys, we got more top 10 coming your way. We got more end of the year content on the channel as well, so make sure you stick around and subscribe, as we're on that way to 1,000 subscribers. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Until the next one, my name is Tyson, and I will catch you then.